Hello, guys. Welcome to Insight Engine, where we talk with entrepreneurs like Dirk about their journey, how they started, and where they are now, and what's their learning and everything. Thank you very much for your time, Dirk, being here talking with us. And would you mind sharing like who you are, what are you doing, and how you got here? And then we are talking definitely. So yeah, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, first of all, for having me here, Roki. It's a really a big pleasure to have this kind of conversation. We are all on a daily basis in some kind of business development at entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
How just a little bit background to myself. As somebody might have figured out already, I'm coming from Germany. The accent is not hidden. That been in the finance industry now for almost 3 decades, starting really with original banking, and had several positions in different consultancies and also on management level in different industry. I was a lot of time in real estate and things like that. For the past 12 years now, I've been running my own business, mainly in consultancy. My projects span from project management, be it for IT introduction, some compliance topics, but my main focus is still on mergers and acquisitions, where I have different roles in larger transactions. I support the internal staff in the handling of the M&A transactions, the project management office, which is common in larger projects, but my experience is there rather in M&A. And I concentrated over time more and more in classical M&A, and there, of course, helping smaller and smaller mid-sized companies in their transactions. I've seen many different types of projects where I saw where were the flaws and what didn't work well and how I would have done it differently. And this experience I'd like to share, especially with younger companies. So basically, this is how we came together. I wanted to broaden my client base due to my extensive experience over my own network, but wanted to go into other industries and especially into other markets where you helped me quite a lot to get there. And this is what I wanted to achieve, because my first client that I've won through Project Engine was that I got in touch with startup businesses who are seeking for growth capital. Even though, of course, we started into, do you want to sell your business? I can help you get a better price. But it turned out that I attracted by this approach also those companies, those clients who are seeking for other solutions in the M&A environment. And this is what really helped me and where I want to move further.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning us. And definitely, there's a quite of a journey. Like what I've understood, when you started 12 years back, you started with certain kind of product. Then you have evolved, right? You have changed the product, changed the target market, and then slowly experiencing more things. But a lot of the time, a lot of business gurus, they suggest when you're starting out, have a very specific product that you're very good at, and then have a very specific niche market whom you are targeting, and you're very targeted. Then what do you think, at what point someone should extend their service, or if they should really extend their service? If yes, why? I want to know more about what your thought process when you are adding more service to your branches. Yeah.
Let me get one step back, because what I started with is, when somebody like me, for example, has already quite a broad range of experience, you tend to sell everything, because it's perhaps a bit too much, but you can do quite a lot. I won't say everything, but almost. And the first step is really to concentrate back on what is really your core. What is really your core product, where you can deliver the most benefit for your client. And this is what I did first. And then when you get some kind of basis in your core product, in your core industry, then of course you can think about what would be the logical expansion of that. What are the services around? What experiences do you gather in such projects? And this is basically where I'm currently. So I was concentrating now on my M&A services, which has always been the strongest part, given the broadened contact base that I have now through mainly through LinkedIn by your efforts, is now to say, okay, what else I could offer to those and even to another audience. This is what comes next. It's very important to be very clear about what you are and what you are not, and then start from there.
Okay, got it. And also, what do you think on you have a career of 3 decades, doing a lot of things, and from your two-third of that you utilized to start this business. So then, are you like, what do you think on expanding the service? You are not really doing it. Like, if I extend further, like for example, we are trying to extend to something what we haven't done before. We don't even have experience on that. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to hire consultant for 2 3 months, those who are already doing it, and then trying to include that service. Why we are trying to do it? Because our client, those client that we already have, we can upsell to them. My idea is when you have the audience, we have served more than 170 clients. So when we have the audience, why not sell more things to them? But in that scenario, there is another problem where the operations gets complicated. Like,
And
you
this is
have too many things, and then if you're
yeah.
not able to deliver properly, then maybe due to one of that, your happy client may turn into sad client because you have failed them with one of
Yeah.
your services. So what's your take on that, exploring the service? And yeah.
Hey, this is pretty interesting because I've been thinking about all that as well. First of all, we all, and this is how I learned your company as well, we are all striving for having happy clients, delivering first class services. However, with broadening your client base, there might be a little flaw, a little failure, and somebody turns out not so happy. I think we have to learn to accept that, because even those clients will show us what haven't I thought about or not properly thought through in my processes that I have to adopt. And I'm also at the same point, I want to start into something which I haven't done so far. And for me, it's not only upselling to existing client base, but also broaden client base to those who cannot afford, for example, my direct services. I think this is a major part. We need to learn that you are not always 100% perfect.
Yeah, I totally get that. Okay, as you have started the consulting business, you are doing job for others, and you are also in consulting business, like working for others. So when you
Yeah.
started, how you got started? Because first thing, when you were starting out, we definitely need clients. A lot of the time, I talked with a professor a few days back. His name is Daniel. He was trying to move from his teaching profession to consultancy. So the first thing he was telling me, I'm not a salesperson. I can consult on certain things. I'm already doing that, but how can I get clients? So, what's your take on that?
Yeah. It depends how much experience you have and in which markets you have been active. In my case, I was already long time on the scene and had an extensive network. Many consultancies struggle to get senior people on their projects. They haven't enough in-house and they struggle to find even some outside. This is where I started. My first projects were working for other consultancy and filling that gap that they had. And this was all based on my own network. If you are starting, let's say, more from scratch, if you are starting into something where you feel that you can add benefits to clients, then of course you first have to be perfectly clear what exactly is your offer. Then you have to think about the channel, how to distribute your message, where you want to consult, coach, train, you name it, that your audience knows, or your potential audience, your potential clients knows what exactly you are standing for and what are the benefits in hiring you and your services. This was a little bit clearer on my side. However, I'm now somehow in the same stage because those clients that I'm contacting now or who are contacted by you don't know me either. And that's why I also have to make clear what it's all about, what I'm offering. It m- might be similar to somebody who has just started with something where I say, okay, I can really provide good service and people are needing that.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing, you see, every business owner, my opinion, and I have also seen in a lot of business gurus, we really need to automate our business, right? But when you are doing the consultancy business, you started as a consultant, right? So you are
Yes.
consulting companies. Now you can hire people to do the consultancy, or then how can you do it passively? There could be one option, creating your own course, maybe about what you are
For
teaching
example,
people, and then selling it to people.
yeah,
Like for an example, in LinkedIn, Justin Welsh, he's selling a course for $100 US, but he's always doing personal branding. A lot of people are coming from there. So if someone is at a certain point that they have done it for a good amount of time, even for yourself, what are you thinking? What's the next step? How can you make it passive?
exactly that. Here's really what it's turning in my head already for quite a long time. I have already written down a lot of topics that I'd like to put into something to be provided online. This is also what I meant when I said earlier to give information to people who might not yet be in a position to hire me for an entire project, because this goes hand in hand with higher cost, of course. But nevertheless, I'd like to train people about the things that I know and which I can share with them. This is basically exactly what I want to do next. Also with a personal consultancy on a regular basis, and LinkedIn and other media are a perfect channel to distribute such a product. This is what comes next. Is planned for the next half of the year.
Yeah. So I'll add to that. I'm working with a person. He's a negotiation trainer, coach. His name is Klaus. I have been working with him for last 1 year. So when we started talking, we were also talking something like this, and then we come up with something where, so you see, there is generative AI, right? So what if we put all of your knowledge, whatever you have learned, if you
Yes,
start documenting it and put everything in generative AI, and then sell it to different companies so they can take decision using your brain. So we have actually already built it. We're talking about it. So how you do it, you just keep training it. You upload all the information you have, and then someone else can come and then put their company information and they ask specific questions. Then the generative AI will be using your knowledge to give them answers. So what will happen? You can actually scale it. Someone coming here, maybe they will pay how many questions they are asking. Or so yeah, that's also something in the future. People can directly talk with you, but you are not active.
this is really, I really want to get into touch with or make use of this modern technology. I have been trying to dive into what AI can do also for my business. I have some ideas, but I have to be very open on that. I'm too limited in my knowledge what AI can do. I was first thinking of, okay, who can help me from AI side in making, for example, nice presentations, or having some financial analysis or pre-analysis already done. Things like that. That's where I came from. But what you are telling, this would be awesome. I would be really intrigued to get this done, because this is what I'm heading for. I want to have a product which works without me, because
Yeah.
my today's business is dependent on one person, and this is in front of the camera here. And
Yeah.
therefore, it was already nice to have somebody like you and your employees at my side supporting me in those things, which I can't do all on my own, because my days is also over after 24 hours. And therefore, but something like that would be very awesome to realize, because I think that there's so much knowledge outside. I don't want to highlight, there's so much knowledge outside, and I'd like to share my part of that knowledge base to more people. And this is what attracted me right from the beginning. Also, the regional area where you are located. It's a learning point. about the business habits in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I think these are the future market. And there are so many also young entrepreneurs who could benefit from such knowledge, but perhaps at an affordable price. And this is what I would really head for. And happy to discuss more details. I want to realize that exactly.
Yeah, definitely. This is very interactive. It's not like I'm just listening to someone, I'm chatting with someone, and it will have
Yes.
your tone, the way you are talking. It will replicate everything. Thinking of passive, you can also utilize it. For example, if you have coached a team or trained someone or give them suggestions, then suddenly they have a new situation, but you are not
Yeah.
under their contract. Now, hiring you again, maybe you are doing something else. So, what they can do is take your service and then subscribe to your bot. We have named it Symbiote. So the symbiote idea I got from Venom. Like, have you seen the movie Venom? The creature is coming from like space
Yeah.
and then it's getting into his body. So this Venom is the symbiote
Great.
making him powerful. He's
Yeah.
not there, but he's there. So you can chat with
Yeah.
him and then take decisions. Even what we are recently updating it to is people can talk with him. And
Yeah.
within 1 year, it can be done. The very good part is it's $1 billion product, but we are getting it at a fraction of the cost. Why? Because all of these $1 billion product, they have API. So what we do is we connect the APIs and create a structure where your knowledge is there. Using the API, it's utilizing the knowledge and processing everything.
I have to admit that I can't yet completely embrace how exactly it would work, but this is due to my limited knowledge about what AI can already do. My knowledge is stopped with using GPT, and which is already an awesome tool for certain things, especially when you want to structure certain information. What I often do, I have something in my head, but how to structure it best. And before thinking about it in 2 hours time, it's better to type it into your computer and get some pre-structure where you can base your further work. This is perfectly fine, but I don't have a USB port yet. And so this is really intriguing, this idea to really combine existing knowledge and making this, yeah, accessible for everybody,
Yeah, yeah.
even with specific questions. This would be a very nice approach, which I really like to realize something like that. Um, because for me, knowledge is not only about the technicalities of topics, how a balance sheet works or a profit loss account. It's very important, all these human effects. And because what I've experienced is that many projects are driven by human behavior, by emotions, and sometimes not so much about rational thoughts. And this is what I also like to hand over. What are the trigger in certain situations, and what are the things that you can't see obviously in front of you, but it's rather hidden behind certain layers of information. And this is also knowledge that I'd like to share, because this is what makes my job very interesting, that you have always to get around with humans. However, to get this into a technical solution, especially to have it spread more over the places, is a very awesome idea.
So the first question is, you are running this business for last 12 years, right? It's a long time. You keep running it. So that means you are always getting clients. How have you become a salesperson? Because you are doing consulting and all these things, but how have you become a salesperson? How are you addressing it when you are trying to close a client? What would be your suggestions for a consultant how they should close a deal?
Actually, in my case, it's even longer ago than my career in the finance industry. I had a chance 35 years ago working for an insurance broker. At that point in time, you were still allowed in Germany to make cold calls. And this is what I really learned about the metrics of how to ask questions, how to deal with argument, and so on. This is what I've used ever since. And still I'm doing that. However, in my specific industry, it's a lot about your technical knowledge as well, because the client is seeking for a certain solution. And for finding that solution, you need some kind of technical knowledge, processual knowledge, and things like that. And so it's a combination of both, because at the end, you still have to convince that you are also the right person. If I could not articulate my knowledge or what I can bring to that client, then I won't sell anything. It's also about training yourself. We have plenty of means today. You can have plenty of YouTube videos where people explain how, psychology works, also in sales process. You can book courses and things like that. I think it's well invested time and sometimes also money. It's very important, because what does it help when your knowledge is available, but nobody knows about it?
Yeah.
I think, and this is also true for me, in our culture, selling often means something negative. You want to help people and you want to make them know that you can help them. This is also part of selling. It's a major part of mindset that everybody has to change, and to lose the fear to speak to people. Listen, I can do something good to you. And this is something I also have to do it. I won't say on a daily basis, but I recognize in some situations, oh, is it really the right argument? And should I do it this way or the other way? Or should I do it at all? No, I have to do it also, let's say, for the benefit of my clients, not for me, and change the perspective. I think this is very important.
Yeah, definitely helping is the best way to sell. Just get on a call and keep asking questions and see where is the problem. And without any expectation, when you just go there without any expectation of selling, it becomes very easy to sell. Because when you think of just keep selling, then you do something crazy differently, you get frustrated, and then the relationship is not building up. People are not understanding you. That's where problem comes.
Here's the point. This is what was the interesting experience since we are working together. Of course, somebody might figure out that the text we are sending out over LinkedIn through my account is pretty much a standard text. However, I got so much feedback from those who were contacted, even those who said, okay, it's not of interest for me. As soon as I replied to that, and they see they are the human beings, I got a positive reaction and very few negative reactions. This encouraged me to continue with sales activities, because the reaction out there in the unknown client base is much more positive than you sometimes think. It's sometimes that we have too many negative thoughts in our minds based on our own behavior in the sales situation when somebody is selling something to us. And this is what we carry around with us. And therefore, this is also, beside, let's say, acquiring client, it was for me a very positive experience to learn the reactions of unknown people to me. This is what everybody should experience who wants to start into sales, to really allow this experience and don't get frustrated if you get some pushbacks. This is quite normal, and you don't lose anything at the end.
Just
You
not take it personally.
you won't meet that person again, and you never know what happened to them on that specific day when they answered to your request. Therefore, just move on and concentrate on those who positively react what you offer them. We tend to concentrate too much on the negative.
Yeah, yeah, we tend to do that a lot, but that's the problem, because one yes, even 100 knows one yes, and that one yes is actually building your business. So let's just
Yeah,
focus on that one yes.
that is true.
So now we have talked about the meetings, sales calls, but how you get it. First, we talked about referrals, but definitely you need to have that much of connections that you have worked with. But there are few things like cold emailing. Then that's also a problem in Europe. You
Yeah,
maybe can send only one email. Then also cold calling. That's not there.
it's
Then
not allowed.
yeah. So what's your take on doing something to get leads? I will give you my idea, what I
Yeah,
think as a
please.
consultant. Because when you are a consultant, the core part that missing, I believe, is like your credibility. Because the consultant part is so deep, I can't show you my product, I can't show you my brain, and they don't have time to see my brain. So what I can do is I can start doing podcast, I can keep talking about the problem that I'm solving. And the easiest way to do that, I'm I don't know how hard will it be to do that. But you see, every day you are passing the day, right? Just think of it. Every day you are solving problems, you're talking with your clients. Just before sleeping, you need to create a setup. Just put your phone there, start recording and talk what happened. So just don't think too much, just think about that particular day, what are the problem you have solved, whom you have talked with, and then you'll get like so much contents. Then you can just go through them and then keep posting. So just think, people will just keep seeing that. So this way you are creating credibility, and the people coming through that content are already sold. So yeah, that could be one good way to generate leads. Then there is definitely LinkedIn outreach. So what's your overall take on generating leads for consulting business?
Actually, sometimes it's really that easy. On the other side, I've experienced, I have been active or more active, for example, on LinkedIn, also with some posts quite a while ago. It really takes time.
Yeah.
And it is really, and also, I know that there are many people outside, even with hard ready information they get out and they get their audience. You're right. You just have to start. And this is also a hurdle in my way to just get started. And I've been thinking quite a lot on how to put this into small pieces. As you correctly said, every day you make an experience, but sometimes some experiences appear so normal to you, but for anybody else outside,
Yeah.
oh, this is really interesting. I wish I would have known this earlier. This is actually true. And this is what I recognize in my day-to-day exchange with my clients. So that many of them are really found very interesting, very small pieces, which are pretty much normal to me. This is really where I have to get to. You have to develop a routine to integrate this into your daily routine. And it, I have to admit, I have not yet found. This is also sometimes driven by the kind of business that I'm doing, which is very short term. You can't plan it every day because there are certain dynamics in an M&A transaction, which you get out of bed in the morning, you look at your phone, what are the first messages, and you can completely replan your whole day because something very important came up. This is sometimes a bit difficult to do the combination of such daily routines with the day-to-day business, which is my business. But this shouldn't be an excuse. You're absolutely right. Put every day a piece of learning into a short, it's always worth it to get visibility on the market. You're not selling only information,
Yeah.
you're selling yourself, your personality. And because this is also what people buy in. And I've seen this in so many occasions. That's why, for example, a lot of bridge consultants are so successful all over the planet because they are able to convey another message. Very technical, very German people sometimes have different behaviors than the Anglo-Saxon people. And these are the small things which make also business. And this is what you can show to the world, that you are how you are and how you would be if I work with you together. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, actually, there is no secret. I'm trying to lose weight. I know how to lose weight. Just follow specific things. In business, also, it's like that. A
Yeah.
lot of the time, we lose patience and we don't keep doing the certain thing and keep improving. So, no matter what we have talked about, your consultancy business, starting it out, getting more leads, selling, it's all about having a journey. Just start doing it. And there are so many resources out there, but
Yeah.
it's about being able to do it or not. So, maybe just create a structure and also assign someone who will push you, maybe have co-founders and all. Yeah, so much.
I think working with you together was my first time that I outsourced certain tasks.
Okay.
Beside my tax advisor, but that's another business. But for my core business, it was the very first time working with somebody outside my own organization. And this helped me also quite a lot to say, yeah, you can rely on certain people, and thank you and your team, especially for the responsiveness. We have some hours in between, but it works perfectly. I was always very positive on the kind of services that were provided. And I think for many others, you should think about outsourcing, because your time is more value if you can sell it directly to your client. And there are always some work to be done. Some people basically know much better how to handle this LinkedIn tool, and how to send out mass emails and so on and so forth. Much better how to recreate my website and doing other stuff. And investing all that time would cost me a hell amount of money just having somebody who knows how to do it. That's why people hire me, because I know how to do it. Why should I behave differently than my own client?
Yeah, you are completely right. There are few things that actually really people miss is now the remote working is there, so you can hire people at a much lower price. And also in business, it's not like you have to do everything. Just keep doing what you are really good at, and then delegate the other tasks. You are not having headache of something that you don't enjoy. So yeah, that's also very crucial. Thank you so much for your time.
I really enjoyed such kind of conversation, because I also take quite a lot out of it. And you planted a new seed into my head, which we have to up on.
Thank you very much and have a great day.
Roki, you too. Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening.